Hello, my name is Daniel Sauls, and this is my exhibit proposal for the Smithsonian. For my background statement, I'll have it up, but I'll quickly review what this exhibit is going to be. It is essentially going to pay homage and respect to the steps that would lead into partition, the origins and the people involved in creating the modern day states of Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. For the first piece is Refugees, which is created by Paritosh Sen, and this actually depicts images of the Noakhali riots in 1946, which was a year before the actual partition, but it would lay the groundwork and the first steps into what the British planned to do with India. And this is Muslim League versus Hindu populations in India who would then proceed to create massacres and genocidal activity by the British because of the torment it was to handle the massive revolts. Good Show What immediately follows, because this is a political cartoon of the viceroy right before the partition. So there was two viceroys, Wavell, who was then replaced right before the partition in August of 1947, but this was created in March, which represents his involvement in the planning of dividing certain regions in India simply because of the inability to behave according to the empire's will, which created more disruption within the population and in-group fighting. This sculpture is directly from the partition. So now we are looking at the actual partition. This isn't what caused it anymore, but the actual looks of it. And I think this statue is really important because although the statue is already found in a museum, this image of the statue almost personifies the woman depicted. It makes it look like a picture of someone, and you can see the horror. You can see the murders, the rapes, the division, mass migration, the loss of identity. All of these people had to go through, and I immediately follow it with Mourning and Moss, which I also believe personifies something that isn't an image. It's a painting. So this was created by Satish Gujral in 1952, only a couple years later, and it shows the state that was still driving these people. It was still a tragedy to go through the massive division and destruction of what was previously known and established that was already not what they wanted. It was against their will to be part of the empire, and now they were stripped of their resources and dignity in the global scale, and now they mourn. Lastly, I end it with the partition of India, objects that tell the story of a mass exodus, which comes from an article created by Anchal Malhotra, who I think is this piece overall, this picture is the best to wrap it up, because she comes from decades after the partition. She didn't witness it herself, but she took the time to look at artifacts, photograph them, and share them. And in one of them is the Guru Granth Sahib, which is the holy book of Sikhism, which was found in certain regions like Punjab and Bengal, but not as important as Hinduism and Muslim, which I just find to be almost poetic in a way. Like, the beautiful book was preserved from directly of the partition, and now we have the hands of someone related to this, someone who witnessed this or knew someone who witnessed this, and now we have it in the modern 21st century, in the backdrop of the Indian-Pakistan wars and conflicts that have happened in the past decades, the role India and Pakistan have had on the global scale and stage, such as its involvement in the Cold War, India towards the USSR and Pakistan towards the US, and later the US's problems with Pakistan All of this can now further be dated back towards the British Empire's decolonization because of their inability to continue their tragic behavior after World War II. And I think all these pieces are extremely telling, and they tell a cohesive story. And in a way, I added the lifespan of each creator of these pieces because I want people to understand the reference point of 1947. 1947 wasn't just World War II. It was so many other things, and this is a big thing for South Asian Americans and Asian Americans in general, but mostly it recognizes the tragic history of this group of people who still share many descendants to this day. Thank you, and this is my proposal. And these are my references.